Okay. So we are going to switch gear a little bit and talking about your personal academic journey. And I remember you get your Bachelor of Science and a PhD degree both in biomedical engineering. So it seems to me that you have committed to BME since very young.
I did commit to BME very young. I went to Louisiana Tech.
Yeah.
I grew up in Louisiana, and this is a small state school that specializes in training engineers.
I see.
In my home state, and I went there. Actually, I started out. I went into engineering because I was good at math and I enjoyed fiddling with things. And I thought, and I'm actually from a relatively poor family, and it was a very practical choice on my part. Like I knew I could get a job. That was really the thinking.
That's how I picked BME. Well.
Exactly. Well, engineers are very practical people.
Exactly.
And so I went in originally for chemical engineering, and I just didn't enjoy it. It was about chemical plants and things like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't interesting to me. So we, by sheer luck, Louisiana Tech had a pioneering biomedical engineering department. Keep in mind, this is the early 80s, 1980s. This is a long time ago.
Okay.
And they had this great small department, and I switched over to that department and really fell in love with the field and really fell in love with the notion of studying brain function and doing something about it from a very young age. And in my program, we specialized in another of the traditional disciplines, the older disciplines. In my case, it was electrical engineering. So I'm biomed with an electrical.
So kind of like combined
that's
both
right.
BME and
That's right. That's right. And I had no idea how important molecular biology would be for me when I was 21 years old. But it turns out to be very important. Right?
So how did you make the decision from undergrad you plan to pursue the grad school at Hopkins?
Yeah, I really enjoy college. I found it. I like the atmosphere. I like the notion that you're exploring the unknown.
Yeah.
And so I felt like by the time I was a sophomore, I felt like this is the life that I want. And, it's fun. Wow. It keeps you young to work at a college, I think. And so I made the decision to go to a PhD program relatively early, and Hopkins is a very prominent program that a friend of mine actually told me about. So I applied and was fortunate enough to get in.
I see, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So why did you choose to work in academia instead of going to the industry?
Yeah, I like this notion that you are working on the cutting edge problem that may not be ready to be a product. I enjoy that pioneering aspect of it. Now, that said, I met this morning via Zoom with a person from a startup company, and it's very exciting to talk to the people that are from this is an alum of the department who's founding companies for technologies, point of care type technologies, and that's exciting too. But I just sort of fell in love with the idea of let's try to do something that's never been done before. And when products come out of it, that's great. When knowledge comes out of it that's useful to companies and useful for human health, because in the end, it's the companies that improve human health. They take
the application.
They create the device or the drug or the technology that helps the human race. And 2/3 of the people from my lab have gone to industry and taken what they learned from me and gone out to places like Medtronic and other kinds of companies. Yeah.
I see. That's so cool. But you like the pioneering part of it. Is there which part of industry, I guess, you don't like, so that's why you didn't choose?
Well,
or you just
at the time, I just wasn't. I felt that at the time I made the decision, which is again I was pretty about your age when I made this decision. I felt that I was bored by the idea of trying to do all the things that you would have to do to get something to market. It's a long process. The approval process is really challenging. I wasn't honestly very interested in making a lot of money. So I just thought, I would rather focus on the pioneering stuff. The other huge reason was I loved teaching. Even though, honestly, as a department chair, I don't do that much teaching, but I love teaching, and you want to teach the best, the most fun teaching. I mean, K through 12 teachers probably do more important teaching than college teachers, perhaps. I think that's probably true. But we, our lives are fun, right? I mean, I get these great students and teach them about how engineers can change the world, right? Which is awesome. Exciting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what were your challenges you have encountered during your academic journey as an undergrad, grad student, and the faculty, and how did you overcome them?
Challenge this could be a very long answer. I'll give you the short version. As an undergraduate, I was actually pretty happy as an undergraduate. So I didn't feel things were going pretty well for me because I was in my milieu. I knew I did well in my classes. I had good friends. I was very involved with the BMES and I had a good social life in the engineering sense of the social life. And at grad school, the thing about a PhD is it's so long. How long did you take? It took almost 6 years, 5.5.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, not too bad. But I expected to be out in 4.5 years, and it took more like 5.5 or 6. And by the time it was over, I was definitely ready to not be in school anymore. I wanted to be in school, but not as a student.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I remember you didn't do the postdoc, so you directly.
No, I did not. I did a postdoc. I did.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I did. I actually, after I got the engineering PhD, I felt like I wanted to hone my experimental skills. So I actually did 2 pretty quick postdocs. One, I went to the University of Texas Medical School in Houston, and I learned some electrophysiology techniques there. And then I moved to the University of Iowa and worked in real biophysics. So I was really honing my skills, recognizing where the holes were in my portfolio. So then I came here, and as a professor, I would say that professors do face a lot of challenges. It's stressful, especially those first 7 years.
To get
tenure. Very stressful. And, you've got to raise money. You've got to teach.
Yeah.
You got to build a lab. You got to publish papers. A lot has to happen. And 7 years seems like a long time, but boy, it does not seem very long when you have all those things to do. That part's stressful. But, I enjoy it. I feel like a stressor that students now face that was less bad for me was that the academic job market is challenging now. In my case, I just had to wait for the field to develop. I was a bit too early. So when I applied for faculty jobs, there were 2 biomedical engineering faculty jobs in the country open that year.
Only 2.
Boston University and the University of Utah. And I applied for some other jobs too, but those 2 jobs. And I was fortunate that I got one of the 2. Okay. And then the number of departments just exploded in the 1990s. Right. And that was great. There was this wonderful time that it was relatively easy to get a faculty job. And now we're in a sense we're so big now that it's become more of a challenge. Now that's the tough news. The good news is that industry really values our PhDs and our master's students and our bachelor students. So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. What is your day like as a BME faculty? And what's a schedule like in a weekly, monthly basis?
Yeah, each day is different. I attend too many meetings, I've got to say. Everybody wants to meet, and some of the meetings are fun, and some of the meetings are less fun. And I try to spend a significant fraction of my time with my lab. I don't feel that I necessarily always succeed in that regard. There's always a new problem. Every day there's a new problem that shows up out of nowhere. And
that's the fun part, actually.
Yeah, that can be fun. Yeah, that's right. And it depends on the problem. but yeah, it's a bit hard to say. I kind of run from this building to where my lab is to back and forth, and I go to lots of meetings which used to be in person and now are mainly virtual. Yeah. Although we're getting back into in person now.
Well, so it will be the same, like a weekly and monthly basis, I guess.
Yeah, the summers are different. The summers are a little bit easier in a sense. The undergraduates are mainly not here, except the ones doing research. So things are a bit less stressed out, and people myself included, we put more of our emphasis into running our research programs during the summer, and because we're a little less distracted. Yeah. And before COVID, there were all these great conferences that we could go to, and great locations. The first I've been, the only time I've been to Shanghai was for the IEEE Neural Engineering Conference, which was a great conference about 3 years ago.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
4 years ago.
I wish you enjoyed the food and the people.
Oh man, I really did. I'll tell you, the soup dumplings.
Yeah. Oh, that's my favorite.
Unbelievable. That's one of the best things I've ever eaten. Those Shanghai soup dumplings.
Yes, that's the only food if I can survive on, that would be the soup dumpling. Okay, so obviously you are very well established BME faculty. So what's next, and then what's your goal in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yes, well, I'm enjoying being the chair of the department, and that will be for a few more years. And the department's doing well. I know we'll talk about that later. Yeah. I certainly have research ambitions, and my hope is that we can really start to move ourselves a bit more toward clinical applications, just edge towards some clinical applications. And I'm not going to necessarily found a company, but I think I think we are on the verge of doing some manipulations and developing some techniques that have the potential in the long term to be helpful for memory, for example.
Gotcha.
So I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah, that's how I hope to close things out.
That's awesome.
Have about 600 undergraduates, about 200 or more, probably maybe 225 graduate students.
Wow.
So we're a big department, and we have about 40 faculty, 40 tenure track faculty, and then a number of other people who lecturers, professors in the practice. Yeah. And we are what I really enjoy about it is that we have this big size, but we're not really fragmented.